Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we do have some massive news, of course. Lamine Yamal is the new Barcelona number 10, and we do have plenty of positives to discuss in today's video. We're going to be talking about all of the latest news and obviously the transfers right now, but along with all of that, we do have to discuss some negatives too. We have to stay realistic here, because in today's video, we are going to be discussing in full the truth about Deco as Barça'S sporting director. Get yourselves ready and let's do this. But of course, guys, we do have to begin right here with Lamine Yamal, because honestly, it was quite incredible. It is such a special feeling to just see him there with the number 10 shirt. Lamine Yamal, Barca number 10. It's extraordinary here. It just feels almost surreal that this is happening right here. But at the same time, I think it's the right move. I think the time is right here with what he showed last season there. The quality that he already has. It's not like we're talking here about, the future. This guy can be the future of the club. Of course he can. But he's also the present. He may just have only turned 18 years old, but he is our present as well. And that is why right here, I think he can grow into that number 10 shirt. I don't think that it will be too heavy for him. We know that it carries such iconic status at Barcelona. So many incredible legends of the club there have worn it before him. And I think he'll understand all of that history. He will understand there what it means, the kind of pride to wear that shirt. But I think it suits him. You know, he's got the confidence there. He has the self-belief that he can do incredible things. He's already spoken about winning the Champions League next season. He's spoken about the titles that he's missing in his incredibly young career so far. There's not all that many that he's missing, but he's hungry. He knows that he has to work. He knows here that he has to apply himself, and it's great to see him now back in training with Hansi Flick here, working hard again and focusing on the job in hand. We know what he can do on the field. Now he's going to do it with the number 10 on his back. It's incredibly exciting, and I have absolutely no doubt this will be a historic shirt here. The sales for this will be absolutely extraordinary. Make no mistake about that, guys. So what do you think about Yamal with the 10? What did you feel? You know, what does it feel to you seeing that right there? It's special. It is unique. And this boy, he is something else. But indeed, guys, we do have to continue on here with some more good news. Let's continue with a bit of good news here with Marc Bernal, of course, because he actually completed his first training session with the group, and it was a full session as well, for the very first time since suffering his ACL injury back in August of 2024. And I've got to say, what a moment for him there. So happy to see him back with the group, back where he belongs. Just so happy that he can experience that feeling again. Because it has been a really long journey, especially for such a young player as well. Not all that long, turned 18 years old. And his recovery, though, it's been quite incredible, because he is undoubtedly ahead of schedule at this point, at least maybe 1 month ahead of schedule for where the club thought that he'd be by now. And that is down to really hard work. And I think he's actually undergone quite a significant transformation over the past year, and the club, they are mightily impressed with him. They are really happy with the work that he's done in the gym during his recovery time. They say that he's gained muscle mass, that he's a lot stronger now, physically more complete there as a midfielder, and we know that is absolutely essential for any Hansi Flick player. So it's great to see there Marc Bernal feeling and looking good, and I think it's a great example really of the kind of attitude that he has. It was a nightmare for him, don't forget, at the start of last season, given the way that he was so good in pre-season, worked his way into Hansi Flick's plans, and then to miss the entire campaign. But instead of sitting around feeling sad, feeling sorry for himself, he used that time out in a really positive way. He got the absolute maximum out of that time away, and he is returned now, both physically and mentally, much stronger. And what we're going to see next now with Bernal is the official medical green light. That should arrive perhaps before the end of the month now, and based upon that timing and how he's feeling, he may well be part there of the Barca squad that go away on the tour of Asia, which again, I don't think anybody expected that a few months ago. It's been outstanding from Bernal, and I cannot wait to see him again out there on the field in an official match. But indeed, guys, if we do move on to those Hansi Flick requests, and what we're hearing right now in the media when it comes to exits from the club, Hansi Flick apparently would like 3 particular exits to be finalised from the club before that tour of Asia, coming here at the end of July. Now, those 3 players are, number 1, Iñaki Peña. Now, we know that he actively wants to leave the club. This shouldn't really be a complicated exit because he also knows he is not going to play. There's so many goalkeepers here now ahead of him. He knows he's not going to get football, so he wants to leave the club, although nothing really has been reported to be too close at this stage in time. Then you've got Pau Victor. We know there's been a lot of loan interest in him, clubs there that want to take him on loan for the coming campaign, but Barca, they'd much rather a permanent deal. They would like some money coming in. They'd like a few millions. Now, apparently, they'd like 10 million if possible for Pau Victor, but let's see what kind of offer we actually end up accepting if we can get that exit finalised. And the other exit there that Flick is looking for is Oriol Romeu. Yeah, he's back. I actually inserted him recently at the end of one of my videos, and people were like, wow, is he still here? Yeah, he came back after his loan at Girona. He is now a Barcelona player again. He has a contract up until the end of the season. Now, what I would say on that one, again, you've not heard many exit links, and given that he has 12 months left on that deal, would anybody really be surprised if Barca ended up paying him off? Could it be another deal here that we've done, another player that we signed that we're going to end up just paying off their contract before it's even up? I personally wouldn't be surprised. Let's see if it happens, because Flick ideally would like Romeu gone. But of course, guys, that is not the only exit the club will be targeting. The club also definitely want Marc-Andre Ter Stegen to leave the club. That much is very, very clear, as does Hansi Flick, although that is not something that's expected to happen imminently. You know, it's not going to happen very, very soon, we expect. Now, what we have to say on Ter Stegen is that once again today, yep, still in the gym. He has now been in the gym for 4 successive training sessions over the course of 3 days. He's trained away from his teammates by his own choice, remember. It was his decision to stay in the gym. Ter Stegen has cited some back pain as the reason why he's doing that. But what I want to say on this, guys, I don't want to give too many more of my own personal opinions on Ter Stegen. I think we all know where we stand on this. But how about we listen to a legend of German football? Let's listen now to what Lothar Matthäus had to say about Ter Stegen's situation. If you want a feeling of really what they're thinking in Germany with regard to Ter Stegen's stance, his situation at Barca, and particularly what it could mean for his World Cup chances, this is the guy to listen to. Because he has said, in my opinion, Ter Stegen won't play again for Barca, and he needs to play in order to achieve his dream of participating in the World Cup. If he wants to play in the World Cup, he should leave. It's as simple as that. He has to leave if he wants to be part of Germany's World Cup team. Now, Matthäus did say, I do understand Ter Stegen. He performed well at Barca. He was a team captain. He has his life now in Barcelona. But he must accept his fate. Barca has other ideas. They have different plans now. And these are decisions that you've got to accept. There's no need to complain. This is football. There is nothing and nobody bigger than the club. Because a lot of people will talk here about, disrespect towards Ter Stegen and that Barca shouldn't push him out, that he should be allowed to just stay. But it's also about the player. It's about what they want. It's about whether he does want to be part of that German World Cup squad. Now, if he doesn't care about the World Cup, sure, just stay. It doesn't matter. He does have a contract. If you just want the money, if you don't want to play for Germany, you can stay by all means. But I just think that Ter Stegen does want to play at the World Cup. He has waited now for year upon year upon year to be part of that Germany starting lineup. He's been waiting for Manuel Neuer to get out of his way. Now he has a chance. Now he has an opportunity. And is he really going to pass that up by not playing? By sitting here as the 3rd goalkeeper at Barca? Lothar Matthäus here, he's absolutely right. At the end of the day, Ter Stegen, he's just got to accept what's happened. He has to accept here the situation and either decide to go out and play, to be part of that World Cup team, or if he doesn't want that, then sure, stay in the gym. And at this rate, he could well become a bodybuilder. But indeed, guys, then we do need to move on to another really, really important topic. I think right now amongst Barca fans, the number one talking point, it's about Deco. It's about his performance as our sporting director, and ultimately, Is he the best man for the job? Is he doing everything in his power right now to get Barca a successful window? Is he the person who should be in charge of all transfer activity at this club? Because, yeah, yesterday we heard from Fabrizio Romano, it was of no surprise to any of us that, oh yeah, Deco, he is crazy about Luis Diaz. Now, we didn't need Fabrizio to tell us that. We've all known that all summer long. Deco is absolutely obsessed with him. It seems like he won't stop until he's signed him. And the question is, how much is that going to cost us? How high are we going to go in terms of the bidding just because Deco just cannot get enough of Luis Diaz? And again today, guys, I don't want to get too wrapped up here in my own opinions. I would like to give some facts when it comes to Deco. I would like to present here some absolute facts when it comes to him and his role as sporting director. Because fact number one is that Deco was appointed as Barca's sporting director in 2023, and let me just say, this was a job of which he had absolutely no prior experience. Let's make that clear. He was completely and utterly unqualified for the job that he was appointed for. We are talking here about an incredibly important role at one of the biggest clubs in the footballing world. And I would actually say at Barca, a sporting director is even more important because of our situation, because of the financial constraints, because of the FFP restrictions. It's a massive job. It is a humongous job to just walk into, again, literally unqualified. So the question is why? The question is, why on earth was Deco appointed in the first place? And again then, you've got to look at Joan Laporta. You've got to look at the culture within this club. Since Laporta has returned, of course, there's been many, many good things. We're not disputing that. But one thing that we have seen just creep into Barca, I think we'd all call it nepotism. We would say that people are hired within the club, not necessarily based on their qualifications, not necessarily based there on whether they actually suit and are qualified for the job, but more based on who you know, on who exactly you've worked with before maybe, who you have a good relationship with, and is that a good recipe, again, for one of the biggest clubs in the world? Because I would actually use here a Formula One analogy. For those of you who watch it, maybe even if you don't, let me explain how Deco, the former footballer, got the job as Barca's sporting director. It would genuinely be like, in terms of Formula One, you being on the grid, you being a good driver right here, let's use Lando Norris as an example, and suddenly deciding, at the boardroom, in a serious F1 team, oh, you've been a good racer, you're a good racing driver, you've done a good job on the track, and now you're going to replace Adrian Newey. You've been a good driver, and now you're going to build the cars. It doesn't make any sense. That's not the kind of leap that you can make. That's not the kind of thing that you could just learn on the job. It is mind-boggling. Because also, don't forget, guys, that after retiring, Deco became an agent, which I think is extremely relevant right now, I would say, because when you look at the way that Deco operates, when you look right now, for instance, at his obsession with Luis Diaz, it almost seems like here today, he is still acting like an agent. In his job as a sporting director, he is acting more like an agent. He gets his heart set on one specific player, and it doesn't matter what happens. He doesn't deviate from that plan. He doesn't look anywhere else. Once he's decided upon a player, that's it. I think as a sporting director at Barca, you've got to adapt. Plans do change. You've got to be open to other options, to other ideas, to better ideas. And I would also look here at the Vitor Roque deal. He was absolutely determined to sign Vitor Roque, a young player there, never ever played in Europe before. And let's remember, Barca didn't have the money. Barca were not in the financial position to pay sort of 40 million for an unknown quantity, and yet he felt compelled to do it. He had to go through with that deal. And even after the fact now, in every interview that Deco does, and he does too many, by the way, in every interview, he takes every chance to talk about Roque and basically blame it on Xavi over and over and over again as the reason that it didn't work out. He cannot let it go. And again, it's this obsession, it's this determination to talk only about specific players. And can I just say that being a good footballer, being a very, very good footballer, it doesn't mean that you will have success in the boardroom at a football club. In fact, guys, let's be real here. there's a good chance of the opposite. And the reason is, in order to become a good player, in order to play at the top level, you've had to dedicate your entire life solely to playing football, to being a footballer. You have little time for anything else. And don't take my word for it. Let's listen to Deco. Let's listen to what he openly admitted in an interview. He said, I wasn't very bright as a student. When it came to my studies, I failed in economics and finance and any subjects there that had anything to do with money. He failed in economics and finance and money-related subject, and he is here as our sporting director. I mean, are you serious? Are you serious right now? And do not forget that he replaced a man in Mattia Almani, who before joining Barca had already spent, and get this, 31 years in the football boardroom. He had 31 years of experience before he joined Barca, with both Mallorca and Valencia in La Liga. Oh, and by the way, Mattia Almani had a master's degree in financial accounting. And this is the problem with Deco. I personally don't have anything against him personally. As a person there, I've got no problem with Deco at all, and I appreciate what he did in the past for the club as a player. But he just wasn't qualified. He was never, ever qualified for this job. And really the blame, it lies with Laporta. Why take this gamble? Why hire Deco in the first place here? A guy who's had to learn on the job at one of the biggest clubs in the world. And I've got to say this as well. Deco's contract expires at the end of the season. And that's the same time there as Laporta's term as president comes to an end. And should Laporta get re-elected, will he extend Deco's deal? Is he going to continue down this path? Is he going to stick with his man? Because as of right now, this experiment, and that's what it is, an experiment, there's no other word for it. It has not worked out. It was a gamble. It was a risk that should never, ever have been taken. So indeed, guys, there's the emotion for you, because quite honestly, I think we are a little bit now frustrated, I would say, in this summer transfer window. I don't think it's gone the way that any of us expected it to go. I think there's a lot of emotion right now within the fan base, and I think we're sort of directing it at different areas, because like I say, I don't have anything personally against Deco. I just think in the role that he's in, he should never have been there, and that is why you have to go higher. That is why Joan Laporta here, he has to take responsibility. He has to be held accountable for the fact that he put Deco in this position, guys. So please, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. A whole range of topics here today that we have indeed discussed. I will see you soon. We will be talking more, but let me know your opinions. Let me know what you're feeling straight from the heart right now. And thank you indeed for your great support. But until next time, as always, Vesca, El Barça.